So today we are going to talk about diversity in the living world. So what we know till now about the number of species known and described. It is approximately 1.7 million to 1.8 million, but we should also remember that new species are constantly being identified and characterized. So, one of the most important part of characterization and identification is nomenclature. Because what is our natural tendency is that we remember a certain thing by its name. So what is nomenclature? Nomenclature is the process of standardization of naming of living organisms all over the world so that they are known by the same name So what is nomenclature? It is a process of standardization. That is, there will be a set protocol of naming of several living organisms so that it is known by the same name throughout the world. And for nomenclature, what we need? That is identification. So what is identification? It is basically process of describing an organism properly and then assigning a name to it. Now scientific names cannot be given just like that. Okay, so there are set of protocols like I mentioned before. So where are those protocols and principles and criteria? Everything is written. For plants, it is written in International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, and in case of animals, it is written in International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Former is known as ICBN and later is known as ICZN. So, the general naming or nomenclature in our scientific world is referred to as binomial nomenclature. What does binomial nomenclature consist of? A generic name and a specific epithet. So what does binomial nomenclature consist of? A generic name and a specific epithet. And it was first given by a very famous scientist, Carolus Linnaeus. So let us understand an example of binomial nomenclature. That is, this is the scientific name of mango, Mangifera indica. Here Mangifera is the generic name. Mangifera is the generic name and indica is the specific epithet. So there are certain ways in which a scientific name should be written. What is that? First is capitalize the first letter of generic name. Capitalize the first letter of generic name. And very important, do not ever capitalize the first letter of specific epithet. What is that? Do not capitalize the first letter of specific epithet. And both of them should be underlined separately. Both of them should be underlined separately. In case of printed material, we need to write in italics. In case of printed material, we need to write in italics. Now we have to understand, is there any way that we can add the name of the author to the scientific name? Yes, there is. Name of the author comes after the specific epithet. Name of the author comes after the specific epithet. That is Mangifera indica Linn. Linn for Linnaeus. So author's name can also be added to the scientific name. Now, what do we understand by classification? Okay, nomenclature done, identification done, but it is easier for us if we can group a certain type of organism based on certain convenient categories into a single group. So this is basically classification. It is a process by which things or organisms are grouped into convenient categories based on easy morphological characters. And what is taxonomy? It is the process of classification of all living organisms into different categories or taxa. Now, what are the bases of modern taxonomy? It is based on internal and external structure. Internal structure means cell structure, external structure like leaves, stems, petals, its developmental process, and also certain ecological informations. Now, what are the 5 steps for a successful taxonomy classification? First, collection of the specimen, then proper characterization of the specimen, then identification of the specimen, then classification into particular groups based on the identification and characterization, and finally nomenclature. So there is another concept, that is systematics. Like what? This is a branch of study where we are not only bothered about the diversity of organisms, but we also want to know the relationship between them. For example, the hierarchy between them, the evolutionary status of them. So this branch of study is known as systematics. So today we are keeping our video till systematics. In the next class, we are going to learn about taxonomic categories. In the next class, we are going to learn about taxonomic categories. So what will fall under taxonomic categories? What is taxon? What is the order of taxonomy? That we are going to learn in the next class. So till then, thank you.